On today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about our collaboration that we did with BOSS in 2017. I'm going to show you my favorite settings, tell you a little bit of the story, and kind of look back over 5 years of awesomeness of this amazing pedal, kind of making its way out into the world. You know? This is already too long, isn't it? Am I going too long?
Roll the intro.
It has been about 5 years since we had the honor of collaborating with BOSS, the greatest pedal company in the world, and doing a 2-in-1, something that BOSS had never done in this way. That result was the JB-2, and today I'm going to show you 4 settings that I really love, and kind of for the first time, do my own episode about this. There is a small mini documentary that they aired back in 2017. We'll link that in the description. You can see us in Japan and at the factory and a bunch of cool stuff. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit of how it happened. I first met Yoshi, the president of BOSS, at I think the 2014 Summer NAMM show in Nashville, Tennessee. Right from the start, I had nothing to lose, and I just started asking him questions because I love BOSS. I'm a history nerd, and we got to know each other. And then, you know, the next NAMM, he came to our booth and hung around. And the next one I would go find him, and we just built a relationship. But, you know, eventually I said, hey, we should collaborate on a pedal. You know, I have nothing to lose. So I just kept throwing it out. And then their 40-year anniversary rolled around, and I got a message from him one day. It said, let's collaborate on a pedal. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. Probably greater than getting married and having children, honestly. And that's how it kind of started. And then we had a meeting at, I believe it was 2017 Winter NAMM, and I proposed the idea. They said, what would you do? If we do a collaboration, we want to do it, but what would you do? Pitch it. So I went in and I said, the SD2 is crazy underrated, and it has this interesting remote that changes between 2 different drives. I said, we should do this. We should do a take on this. There should be a BOSS Overdrive and a JHS Distortion, or vice versa. And that's where the idea started. The rest is literally history. They chose to use the Blues Driver, which is a very iconic pedal. And ironically, it is the pedal that was broken, and I fixed it and started a company. I think they really enjoyed that narrative. It's really fitting for the collaboration. It's kind of an ultimate low gain, real tube soundy overdrive that does a nice distortion if you want it. And then I chose to use, at that time, the Angry Charlie. Now this is the 4-knob version. We now have the version 3, which has the full EQ. But at that time, I took this and then had to figure out, well, this has too many knobs because we have a total of 4 spaces on the mechanical of this, and there needs to be concentric pots. So the BOSS was going to be on the bottom, so the Blues Driver, the volume, tone, and drive, and then my distortion needed to fit on the top portion of the pots. And I just went back to the original Angry Charlie. I kind of took these ideas. This was a reality at the time, at least in a prototype fashion. I started modding away at a pedal that I had built lots of and came up with what I felt like was everything the Angry Charlie was, but very fitting for the Blues Driver. So like a modded Angry Charlie, so to speak. And this is the original breadboard. I pulled this out of the history shelves, the Angry Charlie BOSS version. Sent this to them in schematic form, and they handed this project over to a young man named Mario, and he's incredible. Really young, I think he was a teenager at the time. He did the switching system using the ES8 that BOSS has made, and basically you have those 2 pedals and you have an insane amount of possibilities as far as how you chain them into each other. So those features are Blues Driver into Angry Charlie, or you go parallel, meaning they sit on top of each other like a mixer desk channel would, and they don't affect each other, they're just totally on top of each other. On the BOSS and JHS modes up top, you can do things like plug in a BOSS switcher or just our red remote, it doesn't really matter. And that allows you to switch on the fly between the 2 circuits. So master on and off, Blues Driver, Angry Charlie. Now, when you get into the parallel and series modes, you can set it up where this is on and off and this switches. It's just really versatile because it is literally the BOSS ES8 switching system. This was a product, in Yoshi's words, that BOSS didn't have and they needed, and it has done really well and it still sells today. So it's been about 5 years, like I said, and I never have really demoed this in any great capacity on the internet. So yeah, this is like my first personal demo video. For this first jam, we're gonna just start with the basics, what it's obviously good at. And what it's obviously good at is it has a blues driver in it. I'm going to use that for low, really great transparent overdrive. I don't like the buzzword, but it is what it is. And then I'm going to kick on the Angry Charlie, which I guess the spreadboard represents it because none of these really are exactly right, but they are. If you like the Angry Charlie, you'll like this Angry Charlie. But you know what I'm saying. So when I hit this switch, you'll notice the LED changes, and it'll just be a big distortion sound. And that is the most logical way you can use this. On and off, overdrive distortion. Here we go. Gonna do something that I traditionally never have done and really didn't enjoy until this pedal, because with this pedal it's just so easy. You turn a control and you have different routing because of their Amazeballs routing system. So what I'm gonna do on this is I'm gonna have the Angry Charlie go into this. So I would not do that normally. I would always have my lower gain thing or whatever overdrive, and I would go into distortion, which is heavier, but I'm gonna reverse that. It's really cool. I'm gonna add some delay as well. I'm gonna do like a hard one repeat high mix on the DD7. Great delay pedal. Gotta use BOSS, obviously. Yeah, let's do that. Angry Charlie distortion into Blues Driver overdrive in series. That sound is really spongy to me. The Angry Charlie into the Blues Driver results in just a sound that I normally wouldn't achieve because I normally put overdrive into distortion. But again, thanks to the JB-2's just turn of the knob, I kind of discovered that and I like it. It's like a really cranked, burning 80s or early 90s. I think of like a tube head, like a Soldano or a Marshall. I don't know. It's different for me, and I think that switching system in there and the ease of it helped me discover it. So that said, let's go to the next riff. The next sound I'm gonna do is my favorite tone from the JB-2, and I had never heard this tone until they sent me the proto. Because of them using the switching system that they did, it allowed me to turn a knob and go to parallel, and it blew my mind. So parallel is this. It is these two circuits on top of each other, but not affecting each other. So we normally put pedals in series on a pedal board. Think of Christmas lights. If one pedal goes out, your chain is broken. But in parallel, they're completely separate. They are divided up front, so they don't go into each other. And then the sum of the output touches together at the end, and it just creates a really cool opportunity to take these two pedals and make sounds you've never heard. So for instance, you can take a pedal like the Angry Charlie circuit and have it really low drive, but use the treble tone control on the JB-2 to brighten the whole thing up while the blues driver's dark underneath. It's just a sound you're not gonna find unless you do parallel. And I'm a lazy person and I don't wanna hook up a mixing desk or a bunch of pedals and splitters and joining devices like Summers. I don't wanna do that. So I think this displays what I like most about the JB-2 is that it is some of the best clean tones you can find in any Boss pedal, like light, nice overdrive sounds. I'm gonna pair it with the reverse delay mode. It's the reverse delay of the gods. Boss does it best. This next and last jam, I'm going to use the distortion of the Angry Charlie and slam the blues driver into the front of it. So there's the setting here. This is a series mode and it's blues driver into an Angry Charlie. Now, earlier I said I would never put normally a distortion before an overdrive. That's weird for me. This is what's normal for me, to take the overdrive and push it into the distortion. So I'm gonna use that in a way that I do a lot, and like with pretty much any pedal, it's to take the overdrive and add a lot of volume, use it like a boost, and just treble it up. Like, think about making it as bright as you are uncomfortable with. That's how you think about that. Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna hit the distortion and cause it to cut through the distortion, and this pedal on the other end is gonna keep it darker than you think. So you're like using it kind of like a treble booster, slamming it in. So you're gonna hear the distortion first, and then I'm gonna hit the red remote, and it's gonna engage the blues driver, and you have a cool opportunity for a distortion with a boost set up in the front that's really highly tweakable with that tone control. And I'm gonna add some delay on a solo section because that's what delay is for, right?
Yeah.
Spirit of nostalgia and good times, you know, I found the breadboard, right? I dug that up out of the shelves in the office, and I found the second production unit ever. So we released this at House of Vans with a big 40-year celebration kind of in the Vans skate park in London, and Yoshi gave me this and signed it, and then I signed the other side, and he has the first one because he's the president of Boss. I guess that's okay, and his is signed as well. So 1 and 2, we have those. Pretty cool. And here is the prototype. The first time I ever played it, they mailed this to me. It says TP012, so it's the 12th prototype. It's the only Boss prototype I have. They kind of don't exist. They don't let them leave the building. There are some really cool pictures will pop up here. There's weird, crazy prototypes that are in like reverb enclosures and delay stuff, you know. I'll never get those, and it's okay. I'll survive. Let's go to record time. Today's record time is brought to you by 2020's Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple. This album is the cure for common music. If you are tired of music in general, if you're tired of the same old thing, if you're tired of our jams, if you're tired of guitar, if you're tired of jazz, metal, blues, country, doesn't matter. Put this on. Very, very good. Fiona was like an alternative singer-songwriter superstar kind of back in the 90s, and she's continued to evolve, and it's amazing. It's very, very good. This record's cool because there is a lot of it recorded in her home. You hear her dogs barking in the background. You hear squeaks and squeaks. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. It's a very underrated album in most circles I'm in. You know, the rock hangout, like, hey man, what's a great rock album? This never gets brought up with my friends. I'm not judging them, but you need to listen to it. Don't be like my friends. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know your favorite Fiona Apple record if you have one. Yeah, Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. In the comments below, tell me your favorite setting that I used today. And if you have a JB-2, I would love to hear how you use it in the comments below as well. Hit like if you like this episode, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to get notifications of future episodes. And in the description below, there's some links. One of those links is to BandLab. You can join us on any of these jams or any of our past jams with anything you want to join us with, any instrument. You can sing, you can clap, you can play jaw harp, you can play banjo, you can play guitar, whatever. You can make music with our music without us being involved. It's kind of amazing. Also, there is the JHSshow.com. Check that out. And you can be a patron, which helps support the preservation of pedal history. All that's there. Have a great day and play guitar. Have fun with guitar. Do it. Go play guitar right now.